All right. Well, our next question, Jim, sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Christopher in Alexandria, Louisiana.
My old hometown. The best thing I liked about Alexandria, Louisiana, there was a 24-hour place that had fried chicken and tater tots right in the middle of town at the traffic circle. And
you felt safe enough to go there?
No, only at 3 o'clock in the morning when everybody was outside in the parking lot and I could slip in and slip out inside, and because they didn't have a drive-through back in those days. But it was like a local drive-in thing. And boy, at least you could get food.
Did you wear a hat or anything? I mean, did you try to disguise yourself?
No, I was wearing a gorilla mask.
Yeah, okay.
And nobody bothered me.
Well,
No, there was a few times I went by there and it was too crowded to go into. I won't lie, but I would slip in ever so often.
Here's a question from Christopher. Any truth to it in the 40s and 50s that in regular matches it was a work, but for title matches it was a shoot?
Well, sometimes that's correct. It just both participants may not have known at the time when the match started it was going to be a shoot at some point. This is something that actually still was around in the 70s, where a lot of people that went to the matches in their local arena, on a regular basis, they had kind of figured out things were going on. They'd seen some things, but still the world title matches. And I know this now, the fans, you can't even grasp this concept, but there were some people in those days that had seen enough that they knew that the business, something was going on. It wasn't all on the up and up. They didn't know what, but the world championship matches still had enough of an aura, and the champion always, you couldn't really find fault with Dory Funk Jr. or Jack Briscoe or Harley Race or Terry Funk as far as their in-ring, right? And when challengers would have a match with them, they would up their game, because not only were they in the main event of a better than average house going for the world title, but if you impressed the NWA world champion, guy that had the highest paying job in the business and who every promoter spoke to regularly, if he said, hey, I had a match with that Brian Last in Poughkeepsie and holy shit, that kid's great, well, automatically that could get you 5 new jobs. You could get booked for 5 years off the champion saying, I really liked working with that guy. So nobody tanked it. I've said when the first time I saw Harley Race in Louisville, I'd been seeing Rocky Johnson wrestle for the previous 6 months. Rocky Johnson was good, had good matches. He was over. It's the best match I've ever seen Rocky Johnson have against Harley Race. Wow. And then you would find that once you saw a few more world title matches, it was generally the best match you've ever seen of that particular guy. So a lot of the fans were still convinced that because the money, because the prestige, because the world champion traveled into the territory, he wasn't beholden to the promoter in Memphis. He could go anywhere. So the promoter in Memphis can't tell him what to do. It was still really like that with a lot of people. There was still some mystery. They knew something was going on, but they didn't know what, how, or to what extent. And the world championship matches played into that because they were protected more. It wasn't the same with the WWF champion as it was with the NWA champion, because that was Bruno still wrestled in the same territory all the time, and the people knew that, the Northeast, but to them that was the wrestling that was. And it was shorter matches, and it wasn't as technical, and it relied on Bruno's incredible popularity and appeal. So they thought that the world title matches, not because of the performance in the ring necessarily, but because of just the respect and the confidence and the belief they had in Bruno. That was real. And Vern Gagne, he kept his own belt for most of the 20 years, but you could make a case that those people who had grown up with him, Vern Gagne was the NCAA heavyweight wrestling champion. And same thing that Kurt Angle won, same thing that Brock Lesnar won, just quite a bit earlier. And he was a legitimate mainstream sports star in Minnesota and in the Midwest as a result of that, plus being a national TV star from the network television in the 50s. So until it got ridiculous, here's Vern in 1980. He's the champion for the 7th time or whatever, 22 years after he first got it. He's in his early 50s. That got a little hard to take. But they believed it for a long time, because if it had been a shoot in the 50s and early 60s, Vern Gagne may well have been the world champion. So, you went with the time period and the atmosphere that prevailed.
Do you think things would have been different if Vern Gagne, let's say, had been able to upgrade to NetSuite?
God. Well, I'll tell you what, things would have been different for the AWA if they had as many sponsors as we do. I'll tell you that right now. But however, you ask about the upgrading of NetSuite. Well, this is it. You know what? They just sent me a bulletin from NetSuite headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is it, folks. The putt to win the tournament. If you sink it, the championship is yours. But on your backswing, your hat falls over your eyes. Is this how you're running your business? Poor visibility because you're still relying on spreadsheets and outdated financial software? To see the full picture, you need to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. Brian, are you still on the spreadsheets?
Sure.
Sure. Are you still on the outdated financial software?
Of course.
Well, I'm not, because I never figured out how to use spreadsheets either, and I don't even know how to use financial software, dated or outdated. I do everything with a pen and a piece of paper and a spiral notebook with goddamn lined, ruled notebook paper. However, apparently that is out of fashion and somewhat slower than the stuff that the folks at NetSuite provide. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system to power your growth, because with visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, NetSuite is everything you need to grow all in one place. This is the kind of stuff that Hotchkiss and Fannie and Felcher Featherbottom run. The up-tempo, all the new high technology stuff in the cloud. Here's the thing. They talk about the cloud and your poor visibility in your business. If you're in a cloud, folks, you cannot see up or down. You can't see the ground. You can't see the air. You don't know what direction you're going in. So NetSuite will get you out of this cloud, whether it's cumulus, whether it's storm clouds, whether it's just the...
Not those kind of clouds.
Well, that's why you can't see, right? That's why you got poor visibility, because you're in plane in the middle of the clouds. At least that's what I thought they were telling me.
Well,
but with NetSuite, you can automate your processes. And you can close your books in no time. I'm ready to close the book on this one right now. But you can also stay well ahead of your competition, because 93% of surveyed businesses increased their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Did you know that? 93%. Surveyed businesses increased their visibility and control. 6% of surveyed businesses had no increase in visibility and control, and 1% of surveyed businesses were incarcerated in the state penitentiary for violating the Mann Act.
No, they weren't. No.
But that doesn't have anything to do with NetSuite. That was just the survey.
Nothing to do with NetSuite and no truth to the survey, but yes.
No, that Mann Act is a bitch. Over 28,000 businesses already use NetSuite.
The Dale Mann Act.
The Dale Mann Act. Big Dale Mann. 28,000 businesses, you say, Jim? Yes, I did. And for the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/JCE. By the way, that's N-E-T, suite, S-U-I-T-E, like a hotel, not a candy bar. netsuite.com/JCE. netsuite.com/JCE. Head over there now for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses, netsuite.com/JCE. I thought the #1 financial system for growing businesses was that numbers racket that Fingers Felder used to run over in Portland down in West Louisville.
Fingers Felder, really? He left the Eagles to go into illegal gambling.
Yes, he did.
No wonder Henley and Fry didn't like him anymore, but let's get another few questions here on the show, Jim.